This Excel dashboard template allows you to track the main human resources KPIs of your company over 3 years. Headcount, employee movements, employee skills, employee training, payroll, employee health and safety, and absenteeism. This human resource management tool will help you implement and improve the company's HR strategy. Using this template is quite easy. Input your settings. Input or import employee data, movements data, and disciplinary sanctions. Employee skills, employee training and expense data. Remuneration, employee worked hours. Occupational accidents, commuting accidents, and occupational diseases. And employee absences data. The Headcount Dashboard allows you to visualize the key indicators of your workforce over 3 years. Use the slicer to select the analysis type. Total headcount or average headcount. Here we will see the analysis of the total headcount. The average age of employees is 40 years old. Men are 38 years old on average. On average, women have 4 years of tenure. The majority of employees are on full-time, permanent contracts. 10% of employees are managers. Most of employees are aged between 35 and 44. 52% of employees are men. The company employs 19 expat workers, 2 more than last year. 24 employees have disabilities. Machine operators represent 26% of the company's total workforce. More than half of employees have worked for the company for less than 5 years. Division 2 employs more than 50% of the workforce. Third of the employees work on the administration department. The headcount increased by 12% in 2024. All managers aged between 35 and 44 are women. More than 80% of professional employees, aged between 45 and 54, are men. The Career Path Dashboard allows you to visualize the key indicators of the employee career changes over 3 years. Hires, departures, transfers, promotions, and other movements in the company, as well as analysis of disciplinary sanctions. The company's staff turnover rate is 20%. 39 employees joined the company in 2024, and 27 left. The company hired 19 employees on fixed-term contracts. No clerical support worker was hired this year. 4 were hired last year. Men get hired more than women. More than 2/3 of hiring needs came from administration department. 4 employees resigned in 2024. Resignations decreased compared to 2023. The majority of departures concern managers and male employees. Departures from the sales department have doubled compared to last year. This year, 2 employees received a promotion. Both are managers. One promoted manager is a man, and the second is a woman. The company has issued 3 warnings this year. It fired a professional employee. Male employees are more subject to disciplinary sanctions compared to their female colleagues. The Skills Dashboard allows you to visualize available skills mapping, current and desired levels, training needs, and situation of annual assessment interviews. The skills of 145 employees were evaluated this year. The company has 48 expert-level skills and wants to reach 140. 39 employees are proficient in Excel. 1 is expert, and 7 have advanced level. Employee 1 has basic skill level on accident investigation and advanced skill level on fire procedures. Employee 3 has 8 skills. He has advanced level on 1 skill, intermediate level on 6, and basic level on 1 skill. HR team carried out 141 assessment interviews. 9 are scheduled. The majority of training needs are about digital skills and industrialization. The Training Dashboard allows you to track employee training metrics over 3 years. Use the slicer to select the calculation type. Average number of training hours, number of trained employees, or number of training hours. The company trained 132 of its employees. It invested a total amount of $421,474. On average, training an employee costs the company almost $3,200. 77% of the training budget has been used. The company still has an amount of more than $128,000. When analyzing the number of trained employees, this column shows the percentage of trained employees. 100% of company managers have been trained during 2024. 71% of professionals were trained, most of them are men. One clerical support worker was trained, it is a woman. Nearly 70% of permanent employees have been trained, thus 113 employees. All staff employed in the company for more than 4 years have been trained. 20 employees were trained in digital skills, thus 11% of the workforce. By selecting the analysis of the average training hours, it is possible to notice that employees from Division 3 benefited from the greatest number of training hours. The average number of training hours decreased compared to 2023 for administration department employees. By selecting the analysis of training hours, it is possible to notice that operation of industrial systems is the most targeted skill. 576 hours of training were provided to employees, thus 13% of the total training hours. Employee 39 is the most trained employee during 2024, he received 120 training hours in total. Company's training efforts increased during 2024. Training expenses increased by 12% compared to last year. Use the slicer to select expense type. Internal training costs fell in 2024, their amount is $67,416. The Payroll Dashboard allows you to track payroll metrics, employer payroll taxes, and net pay of employees over 3 years. Use the slicer to select the calculation type. Average remuneration, headcount ratio or average employee cost, and total remuneration. The minimum remuneration received by employees is $1,415. The minimum remuneration of men is lower than that of women. At maximum, an employee receives remuneration equal to $5,284. The payroll of employees on permanent contracts amounts to nearly $6 million. The payroll of professional employees represents a third of the total payroll. The payroll bill for those over 54 has fallen compared to last year. Total payroll increased by 24.5% compared to 2023. By selecting the analysis of the payroll headcount ratio, it is possible to see that the average annual cost of a full-time employee is $38,022. The cost has increased compared to last year. The average annual cost of an engineer is the highest. The average annual cost of an employee who has between 5 and 9 years of tenure is the lowest. By selecting the analysis of the employer payroll taxes, it appears that the total employer payroll taxes from Division 1 and 2 represent more than 80% of total employer contributions. The administration department is the most expensive in terms of employer contributions. The analysis of the average net pay allows you to see that there is nearly no gap between women and men. There is almost no difference between the remuneration of expats and locals. However, employees with disabilities have significantly lower pay than their colleagues. The net pay of men and women are relatively equal in terms of occupation classification. But there are gaps in remuneration in terms of job level. The Health and Safety Dashboard allows you to track the key indicators of occupational accidents, commuting accidents, and occupational diseases over 3 years. Use this slicer to select the injury or disease consequence. The company recorded 26 injuries and diseases. Occupational hazards caused 160 lost days. Men are the most exposed workers to workplace risks. Of the 287,700 worked hours, employees received 302 workplace safety training hours. This represents 0.1% of total working time. Occupational accidents are more frequent and more severe, compared to commuting accidents and occupational illnesses. they caused the death of an employee, and 81 days away from work. One employee died last year on the way to work. A case of disabling illness was recorded this year in the company. The company recorded 2 occupational accidents, more than last year, and 1 commuting accident less. Occupational diseases increased by 33%. Moving machines are the leading cause of workplace accidents in the company. 60% of commuting accidents are caused by excessive speed. Repetitive movements caused occupational diseases that required 32 days of sick leave. Machine operators are the most exposed employees to risk in the workplaces. The Absenteeism Dashboard allows you to visualize the key indicators of absenteeism in the company over 3 years. Use this slicer to select the calculation type: total absence days, absenteeism rate, or lost working days. Absenteeism caused the loss of 190.5 days in 2024. On average, an employee is absent for 3 days. Men are absent longer than women. Work accidents are the leading cause of absenteeism, followed by illness. Both caused the loss of 126 working days. Analysis of the absenteeism rate shows that technicians have the highest absenteeism rates in the company. Absenteeism among this category of employees has increased significantly compared to the past 2 years. 35 to 44-year-olds employees are absent more frequently than their colleagues. Men have a higher absenteeism rate than women. Part-time employees are absent more frequently than full-time employees. The company's longest-serving employees are more affected by absenteeism. By selecting the analysis of absence days, it is possible to notice that Division 1 recorded 108 days of absence in 2024, more than double compared to last year. The supply chain department recorded a third of the total absences. Employee 40 was absent for 30 days this year. Absenteeism is on the rise in the company. 100% of managers who were absent due to illness are men. Female technicians requested event leave more frequently than their male colleagues. The annual KPIs dashboard allows you to visualize the summary of HR metrics. The company's expertise is based on 14 professions and 23 skills. 56% of managers are women. The company efforts to boost the performance of its employees reached 6% of payroll. On average, 1 employee is absent every day. Here is the monthly and annual summary of the company's HR metrics. Total headcount, hires, and departures. Internal movements and disciplinary sanctions. Training budget available at the start of each month. Number of trained employees and training hours. Amount of payroll and employer payroll taxes. Number of occupational accidents, commuting accidents, occupational disease, and number of lost days. Number of absent employees and total absence days. The 3 months during which employees are least trained appear highlighted. Here June, September, and December. The 3 months during which absences are the highest appear highlighted. Here January, April, and August.